Okay, welcome back. This week I'm going to talk about one of my goals for 2020 is to read short stories. I would like to up my short story game, as it were, because I have not read nearly enough short stories, and I would also like to write more short stories. And they say that the best way to learn to write is to read more, so here we go with more short stories that I have on my list to read this year. So the first one I have is Feel Free from Zadie Smith. This book was given to me by someone, and I have read so many great things about her work, and I'm very much looking forward to reading all of these. The next one is Language of Thorns from Leigh Bardugo. I read Grishaverse, the whole trilogy last year, and I also read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and I really enjoyed her work, and I think this will be interesting to read. I am so fascinated with how this book looks on the inside with all these pictures and so forth, and like this book is really just beautiful, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. It seems like a fairly simple read of a lot of kind of fairy tale type things, so this one's going to be really fun, and also what a beautiful cover. The next one is the king of short stories, which is Ray Bradbury. I read one of his short stories when I was a kid, actually. It was for school, we had to read it, and that story has stuck with me my whole life. Last year I read his book Zen and the Art of Writing, and so I figured, hey, why not? He talked about his process, and he wrote a story a week, which is insane. And so, like, there's a lot here to read, and I'm very excited to read the short stories of Ray Bradbury. Next is Ken Liu, The Paper Menagerie, and Other Short Stories. I mean, this cover, the tiger had me. I'm really excited to see what kind of short stories are in this one as well. And then I also have the stories of Vladimir Nabokov. I read Lolita, I don't know, many years ago, and the thing that I loved about Lolita was not the storyline, which is ew. He has a way with language that is just uncanny. I feel like somebody told me that Russian or English was his fourth language, and the way that he uses English to serve his needs and write his work is really nothing short of amazing. He had such a way with words, and he was so evocative, and that's what I loved about Lolita, was the way he used language. So I'm looking forward to reading these short stories that hopefully are not quite as icky as Lolita is. And then I have this short story compilation called Monstress. This is, I believe, a Filipino author, and I have mentioned before that I am doing the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and this one satisfies the writing prompt for a bird on the cover, also an upside down image on the cover, so this should be a good one. I've read one of the stories in here, and so I think it's just time for me to finish this. I've had this book for several years, and it's time to get on this one. Another one that satisfies the Pop Sugar Challenge is the best stories of 2017. As you can see, I am a bit behind. This one fulfills the prompts for an anthology and also something that has 20 in the title, so because it says 2017. So this one would work for either one of those prompts, and I've read a few of the stories in here, so I'm looking forward to finishing this book as well. And then the last one is another one that I've had for quite some time, and this is the Vintage Book of Amnesia. I picked this up on a visit to a very odd little museum in Los Angeles years and years ago called the Museum of Jurassic Technology. If you are in LA or visit LA, I strongly recommend you go to this weird little place. It will change the way that you see the world. The world will not look the same when you come out as it did when you went in, and that's really the best way I know how to describe this place. It is super strange. So I picked up this book called The Vintage Book of Amnesia. This one also fits the Pop Sugar Challenge for an anthology, since this is an anthology of writing that is about memory loss. And there's some great writers in here, Philip K. Dick, Jorge Luis Borges, Shirley Jackson, Vladimir Nabokov. There's just some top-notch writers in here, so I'm very much looking forward to this one as well, and hopefully I'll be able to remember it when I'm done. So there you have it. Those are my short story goals for 2020.